Oh, call the meeting in order. We'll start with the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
Too, I think didn't Miami like fully blown out or?
We've got the agenda before us here. Is there any additions or corrections? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So move. Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Approve previous minutes from September 24th. Everybody's had a chance to look at those. Is there any additions or corrections to those? Motion's been made to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Public comment. Is there anybody that wishes to make a public comment? Okay, nobody for that. Appointments, there are none. We'll move on to the consent agenda. And there's one item here, place Michelle Ashmore and Jamie Groden on the payroll as temporary casual 67-day employees to be work on the absentee ballot board.
So moved. Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Moving on to action items. Action item number 1, consider approving Green Acres and Rural Preserve payback policy. Letter payback process and resolution form. Luke.
I
And
apologize for the sunglasses. I had eye surgery. I can't
Yep.
really. So I got Lee here if I have to read anything. So basically, we talked with Polly at the auditor's office, to come up with some kind of policy for the Green Acre payback since we're collecting them now. So we kind of went through statute and what we can do, what we can't do, and then kind of came up with a packet that we sent that we would require people, send this out when it sells. And then if they don't pay, we would come up with that list. And we thought that it would be best if the board approved an agenda for one, and then approved the people that we're gonna put the special assessment on if they don't pay. We just thought it'd be best to go with the board action versus us just doing it. So that's kind of where this all came from. There really isn't anything out there. Lee and I have been on a focus group for Green Acres, so we're trying to get the program more universal for everybody. But that's just kind of where we're at with this. I guess we're just asking for approval of the letters that we wrote up there, the policy. If you guys want to make any changes or how you guys feel about it, yeah, or if you have any questions.
So the payback time, that's not changed?
Right, so the statute gives them 30 days from after the time of the deed to make the payback, so we send out a letter as soon as we get it and tell them they have 30 days to pay it back. To remain in the program if they
Right.
want, or pay it back to get out of the program. And then if they don't, I mean, they can still pay it back anytime that year or whatever, but after the 30 days, they're now required to pay it back according to statute. So the first 30 days, they can make the decision. And then after that, it's a requirement. And then if they don't pay it by the end of the year, that's when then this policy would go into effect, where we would present you guys with a list of the names of people that hadn't paid it back, that it was due. And then I guess if the board would approve to add it as a special assessment on their tax for the following year. Yes, and that's what it says in statute to do, but it's still better to have it as a board thing, I believe.
Yeah, that part's fine.
Yeah.
just that, because most of the law firms that handle transfers, they know of this rule on the Green Acres to pay back. You go back 3 years if they don't qualify to be on Green Acres, or
More-
the new property owner.
Yeah, more and more of them are, I mean, we've reached out to a lot of them. We're trying to let them know, and most of the ones we deal with now are pretty good about it. They know, they're pretty aware of it
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
So that part hasn't changed as far as you, what is it, 3 years you go back to pay back?
Yep, the current year and then 2 prior.
Right. So that isn't gonna change here at all, just the process of how we're doing it.
Yeah. Just kind of so we have a procedure policy. So if somebody asks, why'd you do that? Well, because it's written here, this is how we handle that. That's kind of why we wanted to come up with something.
It appears to be kind of a checks and balances where the board has some input into it, so.
Yeah, basically at the end of the day, you guys would have the final say on them then, kind of, so.
Makes sense.
And I guess, you know, since we've started, we kind of had the numbers of what the payback has been. I can't read it, but last year,
Sure. In 2023, there, we collected roughly 44,000 in Green Acres paybacks. And then so far this year, right around 9,000. So we're at, so far, since we implemented, this program, you know, the Green Acres payback process, we've received just under 53,000 in revenue from the Green Acres paybacks. There were some in 2023 that were not received. And so, you know, this process and this resolution, presenting you with a resolution at the end of each year will allow us to then recoup that payback that without it, you know, we really don't, we can't add it to the special assessments.
It appears that has been looked into following the statute and so I think it's a good idea to have, so I move to approve the resolution as presented.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Carol, do you have any input on what do you think of this?
We just got it from Holly, so I haven't chance to do it.
So you always, Polly, I mean, the auditor's office handled this before, right? So now assessor's gonna take it over and do it.
well, we calculate the payback or how much it is, and then we send it to the auditor and tell them the amount and who is required to pay it. And then at the end of the year, we will track it. We're gonna track it, and then we'll provide you guys with the list. And then if you approve the list, then the auditor would, or Polly would take over and add that amount to the tax part.
So the auditor's still gonna have a role here.
Yeah,
This was built with Polly.
yeah, we met with Polly and went over all this and kind of came up with it together. And I don't know if Polly has any other input on there.
Polly, you got any input on this?
No, what they're saying is exactly what we talked about. In the past, the auditor's office would receipt in the Green Acres payback. So again, a copy of the receipt would go up to the assessor, so we were both on the same page as to who was paying back. But it kind of left out the people that weren't paying back, so that's why this next step came into play, where how could we collect on that?
Okay. So there was an issue of some people not paying back.
It's not too
Wasn't-
many. I mean, I think last year we had 4 or 5 people that didn't, so it's not like a lot of people, but it doesn't seem fair to just, I'm just not gonna pay it and then they don't have to, while other people have been pretty good, really good at paying it back,
Mhm.
so. I guess that's the whole point of it, is to try and keep it fair for everyone.
So the reason they gotta pay it back is they sell their land. You gotta live on it so long.
So if they sell the land, if the new owner qualifies or they're a relative or something and they want to keep it in, They just have to come in and fill out the paperwork within 30 days and there's no payback. They don't have to pay it back. It's just after the 30 days, if they don't qualify or they don't want to be in it, then there's a payback required, but they can keep it in if they qualify or they're a relation.
The sample letters that you had in the packet, that them were mailed out to the people prior to this also?
Yeah,
So
we
it's
mail
pretty
one out as
self-explanatory
soon
then.
as the deed comes on deed log to us after it's recorded and stuff, then we send one out right away if the property has green acres.
Good checks and balances of them.
Well, motion's been made and seconded. Is there any other further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Number two, consider approving juvenile detention center contract with Sheriff Swedberg as authorized representative for administration of the contract.
Morning. I believe all of you should have received a copy of the contract. County Attorney Yacht made the contract. We discussed it.
A lot of X's.
Excuse me.
Just a lot of X's.
Oh, yeah, a lot of X's for them to fill in, yes. And I was looking to you approve the contract and also allow me to be an authorized signer. So I don't have to come back to the board. Each time there's a contract, I can just sign it.
So you won't have to come to the board when you do a contract with the other counties?
Correct. And get approval each time.
We always did that before, like with Winona County contract. We always had board approval.
Attorney Yacht just said suggested that and said just it's easier and quicker to move. So you can just get it signed instead of waiting for the board and get it on the agenda.
these are gonna hopefully be multiple contracts too.
Hopefully,
That's the intent thereof.
right now I have one county that wants me to send the contract to them. They said they would sign it, but nothing's guaranteed at all. So
What would be wrong with coming for the board if you do a contract with another company?
just the timeline, the only thing different.
Right.
We just have to get it on the agenda and then get your approval each
Right.
time.
I mean, it's a one-year contract, right? Or is it gonna be multiple year? It's gonna be renewed every year.
Yes,
I
be
assume.
renewed every year.
I mean, I would still want the process of being able to know, just so you know about it and approve it as a board. We approve a lot of contracts. I don't know what everybody else thinks. I mean, cause if, this way, just you have the authority and not Sam won't have authority or nothing, or
Correct, and nothing would change in the contract except the access area and to fill in blank areas. Otherwise, the contract isn't changing except for the agencies, the timeline, that type of stuff.
well, just the fact that in the past, we've always approved contracts, like I say, with Winona County when we did theirs.
Is that an annual or a long-term one? That was before my time when I first started.
Usually that was like a 2 or 3 year contract, I believe. Last one was 1 year because of the timeline.
And the county attorney mentioned, you guys done this in the past, but I
On-
can't tell you what it was.
On page 9, it's got approved county, Houston County, and then approved blank county by authorized signature, which I'm assuming would be the board chairman. So you already have it written up with the board signing the
I
contract?
don't have a contract right in front of me.
Yeah, I see that. It says,
Then it's the sheriff. and
Authorized.
it's the
basically that
chairman.
would be just a stamp probably of the chairman,
I would imagine it would be a stamp.
and then Brian, and then well, Sam Yance on here too.
And it's up to you. I mean, if you want to leave it, come on board each time, I don't mind. I just think it's a timeline. Just to get it quicker done.
I would be more comfortable doing contracts.
That's fine.
as a board.
Like I said,
I
Sam
don't know what
suggested it. and-
everybody else thinks. I mean, that's what we've always done in the past.
Being it's a new program, like you said, it would be nice to know how many. and
Just,
when
just
they
so you
come
know
in.
what's going, you know, who we got a contract with and.
We do get a lot of questions.
Right.
You wish to withdraw your request at this time, Cheryl?
That's fine. I mean, that's fine if we withdraw the portion. I believe we still need to approve the contract, don't we? Or not?
Well, do you have a contract for us to approve?
No, just the basic contract itself. So we can
The
send
only
these out.
change would be, it would need to come before a board for approval,
Oh, okay,
right?
Yep.
That's what we're talking about.
correct. Well, they haven't approved this contract at all, like. Even though Sam, the county attorney wrote it up.
He wrote it up that we're gonna do, if we do contracts with other counties, that you have the sole authority to approve it. Right? So it says,
Yes. That's how county attorney wrote it up.
Yeah.
But yes, I can have go back
go
and change
back to
that.
Sam and say, write it up.
Let's change that part. It's fine.
So we could just table it for now and then.
You have a person that's.
So you obviously want to kind of get this contract approved from.
Well, I wanna get it.
County?
Yeah, looks like it rolling. I mean, are you able to approve it with the change
Well, you can
modification?
bring it back at the next time.
It's 2 weeks.
That's 2 weeks from now then too. So that's why.
Can we approve it with modifying that?
Well, there's two things being requested. First of all, the contract.
Well, there's-
that's written, and then the second thing is that he have the signature on it. We're dividing it out now so that the contract, one thing, the wording of the contract, and then as far as being the authorized signature, it's the request today, but we also have not seen the contract. This is the first we've seen the contract, and I think he's asking for the approval of it.
Correct. So I don't know if you can approve it with the modifications. So we can just keep the ball rolling.
What do you think, Carol? Carol, what do you think of that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Now,
I don't think, when I talked to Mower County, they're committed to do this. I don't think they're gonna back out in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know.
My
I never asked him
conversation I had with.
Yeah, the one I talked to said, send the contract over.
Yeah.
I don't know. Didn't have a discussion about backing
Go
over.
back to Sam,
timeline.
I just say go back to Sam. Say we wanna have board approvals in this contract. And any future contracts. And then we could do it both at the same time if you have the Mauer contract ready to go. But we.
Should be able to.
Yep.
All right, sounds good.
That's okay with everybody?
It's a good idea.
Yep. We'll do that.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 3, consider approving or denying the CUP for Bruce Mann place of dwelling on less than 40 acres in Black County Township. This was last Thursday night.
Yep.
They want to get going, so they wanted to get this on the agenda today.
Yep, where otherwise we'd normally wait till the following week, which now is working, but. Yeah, so planning commission met last week and this is just a typical non-farm dwelling permit or request. It's about a 4-acre parcel or just under a 4-acre parcel, and it meets all the non-farm dwelling standards. It's on marginal soils. That. And. He's already installed a septic system. There's an egg building out there already and a well installed. So this is kind of the last step in the process for him. I don't know if you have anything else, Greg. It was pretty
Much
quick hearing.
I mean, it's in perfect place. I mean, it's off the road, but he's what, a quarter mile off the gravel road. It's right in the corner of the woods. I mean, it didn't take up the property. It's just.
So I'll make a motion to consider it CUP. To approve it.
Motion been made to approve the CUP for Bruce Mann. Is there a second? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
This is what was just sent out yesterday, the minutes from the meeting, or was it Friday that came out?
Yeah, I think Holly sent an email Friday with the findings.
Friday, there
The
was
finalized
all the
findings.
findings, that's what I was reading as part of the same thing, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Which they didn't change from what was included in the board packet originally.
Sure. Thank you.
Anything else? Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. I should ask, was there few conditions?
Just the standard too.
Standard two, right? I guess we have to announce that.
Oh.
With the conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 4. Consider approving resolution number 24-38 authorization to execute Minnesota Department of Transportation grant agreement for airport improvement excluding land acquisition. Brian.
So this, check the right one here, yes. So this first one here is an agreement that was previously approved by the board. For no, never mind, this is not the one. Okay, so this is the one that the board previously approved, the grant agreement with the FAA to for them to fund 90% of the cost at 84,600, which had that 10% remaining to local, and this is gonna have the state pick up half of that local cost. So ultimately, the county will pay for 5%, MnDOT will pay for 5%, and then FAA will pay for 90%. So the grant agreement is for $4,700 to pay toward the cost of the RNAV study, of which that contract with Bolton and Mink's already been approved, and they're working on getting that new instrument approach designed up. So
What study?
this is it's RNAV approach. It's instrument approach for the airport, so that
Approach deal.
that's straight in approach versus circling. And so the contract with the consultant was approved back in this early spring. And then the FAA grant came through a couple weeks ago, and now this is the grant.
Oh.
So
It's kind of confusing because you keep coming back for more approval and grants. I thought we just approved that.
yeah, so we approved the FAA portion of the grant, so this is the MnDOT portion. And I really don't like how they do everything with this, where it's always like you approve the consultant, then you approve the FAA, then you approve MnDOT instead of doing it all at once. So without this approval, the county will need to pick up that local cost. So, and the agenda request said 4,600. It's actually 4,700 for each agency. The county cost and the state cost.
The total of the engineering is 94,000, of which state pays 47, we pay 47.
Correct.
Big project and minimal cost to the county. I move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made in a second and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Resolution approved. Consider number 5, consider accepting quote from Saxon Fleet Service in the amount of 54,838 for a 1-ton flatbed pickup plus tax, title and fees. Brian.
Yes, so in the budget for this year, we had a couple pickups in there. One of them is a 1-ton pickup. This is to replace 2015 1-ton. It's the old, the white 1-ton that David Power used to use, and now it's up being used at Houston. So the went to this, looked at state bid, looked at what's on the market from dealerships, along with getting these 3 quotes, and that the best option, the cheapest option would be to purchase the vehicle from Fleeton or from Saxon Fleet Services. So that is the recommendation.
Replacing 2015.
This, yes, the 2015, just under 100,000 miles.
Is that one being sold or traded or what?
We will sell it on more than likely on bid. We're estimating trade-in value of the sale value of about 24,000. So net cost would be about 30,000, a little over 30,000 for the pickup if we get the estimated value on that for the we're selling it. And then in addition to this one, number 6 on the agenda would be to purchase a flat on top of this truck. So that'll kind of go hand in hand. So it's, if we approve number 5, we're gonna want number 6 approved as well.
So this is chassis and stuff, and the number 6 is the bed that goes on top.
Yes,
Is number 7 a whole nother?
that is it.
vehicle?
That's a different vehicle. Yes,
And that one's an anticipated sale through min bid also.
yes.
What year is that?
That one is a 2017.
How many miles are in that?
About 70. So that one is a little bit less on the miles. And I talked to Carol some about it, talked to staff, looked at, overall condition of the vehicles. This first one would be the priority on replacing. If we had to replace one at this time instead of 2, we know next year's budget is gonna be tough, so we don't replace it with this as budgeted for this year. Probably not gonna get into next year's budgets, and then push it out to the following year. This vehicle is used by the maintenance staff. The other pickup is our sign pickup that's pulling our sign trailer around, and when we do our sign inspections, he'll be punching along on the township roads, documenting all the sign conditions and all that type of stuff. So
So when you budget it, do you budget the cost of the vehicle outright, or do you budget anticipation of revenue for the sale of it?
yeah, we budget, so we show an expense of the full purchase price and revenue for the anticipated sale price.
So the revenue's on your budget as
Yep,
well.
yep. So we both have, the expense and the revenue. And I believe the net on the 1-ton pickup. So our original budget, I believe, is 68,000 of expense and 26,000 of revenue. So we're anticipating the purchase here is going to be several thousand less than what we budgeted on the expense side, and we're anticipating a couple thousand less on the revenue. So overall, it should be a few thousand less than what we budgeted.
This is in this year's budget.
Correct.
Get it done before the end of the year type thing, so. It appears that the numbers are coming in a little bit better than anticipated. You said 60 some was in the budget. We're coming in at 54 requests, so. It's, like I say, next year's budget ain't gonna be able to support it perhaps. I move to approve it.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Is this this is already in the 24 budget?
Correct.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? This is just for the 1-ton pickup.
Kevin Chair.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Number 6, consider accepting the quote from Lone Star Truck Parts in the amount of 46.45 for a flatbed for the 1-ton pickup.
So on this one, we received 9 different flatbed options that we've looked at from I believe 4 different suppliers. The one that's being recommended is the cheapest option out of all of those.
It's not
All those
aluminum,
quotes
is it?
received, so no.
What's the old one?
The old one on the
The old
other,
flatbed on the old truck?
yep, it's a steel. I did talk to both our mechanic and our maintenance supervisor about, could we take it off and try to move it over? And the feedback I'm receiving based on the condition of it, and they recommend just leaving it on that truck. Selling it is not worth the expense and the labor to take it off, put onto the new truck, and then sell that truck without. Figure it's a better value to sell that other truck with the flatbed. And then so this flatbed would be very similar to the other ones.
This was budgeted also.
Yes,
I mean, that's probably was in the budget for about 68,000.
yes, yes.
Is there a motion to accept the quote from Lone Star Truck Parts? Amount of 46.45 for the flatbed.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made second. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Number 7, consider accepting a quote for Saxon's fleet services in the amount of $47,513 plus tax, title and fees for a 3/4 ton flatbed pickup. So this is a flatbed also.
I'm gonna. No, this one is not. I'm gonna.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna make that correction. This is just a 3/4
Just the regular
pickup
box,
with,
yep.
with the standard box on it. So yes, there's not. So this, like I mentioned before, so this is to replace a 2017 pickup that has roughly 70,000 miles on it. So this is our sign person has 2 trucks. One is our big sign truck that we use for installing the signs, has platform and a variety of features on that one. This is the smaller of the trucks that the sign person uses. This one pulls the sign trailer all over the place and the message boards and all that type of stuff. And we need to move those around from location to location. And then he's also out and about inspecting every county and township sign every year. So this has a lot of time, punching around through every roadway, sometimes during the day, sometimes at night, and doing the inspections of those. So even though it has 70,000 miles on it, has more hours on it than a typical vehicle at that mileage. So and then discussion mentioned before with Carol as far as one is to the right time. This is in the 2024 budget. We're anticipating it's better to buy it now rather than trying to put it off into next year's budget, and really don't want to wait till 2026 for the parts.
It probably has a lot more idle hours than run hours.
Yes.
Is there a motion to accept the quote?
Is this in the budget?
Yes.
What's your opinion, Joe?
It does make, it does make sense to keep our rotation in the vehicles as opposed to moving to next year when we're really get what those replacements are actually gonna be. They're probably gonna possibly be down the road, so as long as we have it for this year's, and it looks like we're probably going to eliminate that budget deficit through other options that we have.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, moving on. Number 8, consider approving revised grant agreement and revised resolution number 24-37. Authorization to execute Minnesota Department of Transportation grant agreement for airport improvement excluding land acquisition.
Yeah, so this is
Did I just
why.
read that? Or-
Yep, so this is why I came up here before. I said, I wanted to verify I was talking about the right one. So for the clear zone acquisition plan, so the county board approved $10,000 to have a consultant do a clear zone acquisition plan a few months ago. And then we came back and I believe this one was approved last week for the clear zone acquisition plan for the states here being 75%. We got that approved, sent it back to the state, and they responded back right away. As soon as it went to press, that they said that it should have been 70% state participation instead of 75%. So they will not sign off on their end without having an updated resolution and approval to reduce the state share from 75% down to 70%. So they are going to fund $7,000 toward this project, and the county will fund 30%, which will be $3,000.
So they got the proof that it should be down to 70%?
What was that?
Did the state provide proof that they should be, that they're only gonna do
It-
70%?
It's their cost participation. So when I received it, I thought that number probably should have been 70% instead of 75%. I didn't.
Well, it should have been 90.
Um,
We've been down that road before, right? I mean,
so FAA usually approves at 90. State, it can verify. It can change depending on what funding source is used and or with what type of project it is. So for this type of project, it's typically 70%. Some things are 2/3, 1/3, some things are 50-50, nothing. It all varies, but this one usually is at 70%. So 70 is what is typical for this type of project.
So this is to change it from the 75% to the 70% that we approved this before, you say?
Yep.
But it was.
we approved it at 75.
Yeah, but they will not sign off on it. So if we don't agree, they're not going to sign off on the 75%. So if we want to have their funding, it's going to be 70% or nothing.
On a misprint or something that we got that 75% number and was the
Bas-
original thing or something, boy.
Yes, basically it was a typo.
Is there a motion to consider approving a revised grant?
Oh, we need to continue with that because we did the other things. It's just unfortunate, but I move to approve.
Is there a second? I'll second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Aye. Number 9, consider accepting quotes from Schmidt Refrigeration and Winona Controls for 2 air conditioning units at the Community Services Building.
So community services building has multiple air conditioning units. They replaced a couple of the ones previously, I believe earlier this year, last year. And these other 2 units are in need of replacement. Been told that they're not holding the coolant very well. They're needing to be recharged fairly often. And at this point now, the requirements are changing as far as the refrigerant being used. So our 410A refrigerant is being phased out, and the recommendation is to replace the units. So these units were installed back when the county bought the building. So that would have been around 2010, 11. So they're around, 13, 14-year-old air conditioner units, so it's, they've made it to the end of their life cycle, and I've been told that there is money in the budget, that this was budgeted to replace these.
Total cost would be 12,100.
$10,570.54 is the,
Oh, okay. So
nope, that is for both of them, is the, yep, $10,570.54 would be for 2 Terrain air conditioner units.
instruments, okay, gotcha.
It's he bid 10.
All right. Is there a motion to accept the quote from Schmidt Refrigeration?
So
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Hey, Brian, that 1 ton. That wouldn't be heavy enough to put that sprayer on.
No.
How many gallon sprayer is that?
Um,
700 or is it 500? But it's
I-
because the one that's sitting on a 450 now, so it's not gonna be heavy enough to sit on a
It's sitting on a 550.
550, right?
Yeah, we did talk about that, and yeah, they didn't wanna, they're afraid of the brakes breaking with,
All right. Just wanted to ask.
Thank you.
Thanks. Number 10, consider reviewing and approving payments, Carol. Standard procedure.
Just gonna ask one about the computer forensic services. Is this to do with the update of computers in the building or?
No, that is actually, which was something I needed to bring up. So Sam applied for that grant, it's 1.5 million over 3 years to do forensic services for the third judicial district. This is a case that was, of course, needing to be done before we actually got the paperwork done. We have completed the paperwork and we're set up to start. And it goes back to March, right? So we've spent approximately 40-some thousand on forensic analyzing
Mhm.
digital things. So we'll be able to recoup that money
Good.
from this grant. So that's the latest payment. So I said, we went through all the paperwork and getting set up and, you know, they need your firstborn and all that kind of stuff to get that, but we're set up to do that. And now there's actually a contract between, I don't know, it's between kind of Sam, us, and this computer forensics.
Yep.
Do you want the board to approve that contract, or would Eric just sign it?
It's an agreement for.
Well, is it like a 1-year contract with that company or 2-year?
Three.
Three-year
It'd be a
contract?
three-year
Got 3 years.
contract. Mhm.
That's gonna be paid with the grant funds.
Right. Right, it's just that, you know, we'll get the money in, we'll pay it out to them. They have to provide the accounting of, you know, making sure that they eventually spend the $1.5 million, but looking at a claim like this for one case. And looking at
That's a-
how many counties are there in the third judicial district?
So that 1.5 million is shared with the whole.
Right.
District, right?
No, it's not just ours,
Right.
No,
it's for the,
So, yeah, that doesn't gonna last long here. Well, I think we need to probably stay consistent, don't we, and have board approval.
yeah, I
Yep.
mean, that does make sense.
Yep.
So, it will be presented then at the 14th board meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions on the payments here?
The Lawrence Lake Marina, was that for like the boat slip or
Yep.
fuel or?
fuel,
And then
Boat slip.
that agreement that they had with Vernon County, so then do they pay us half of that then for the fuel and that too, or then?
I guess you'd have to talk to Brian about that. I can find out for sure. We could probably. Just
Mm-hmm.
have to look at the Vernon County agreement. To make sure that. If that's going to happen.
Yep.
We'll find out. I just received a survey from Jill at Minnesota County's AMC. And they are asking to complete a survey, a budget survey. And one of the questions is, what are the top 3 legislative priorities for your county?
Before we get into that, let's approve these payments.
Oh, okay, you didn't approve them, did you?
Yes, there might be a list, anyway. I move to approve the payments.
Is there a second to that? I'll second. Any further discussion, questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, legislative priorities.
What would be your 3 top legislative priorities? I mean, I don't, it does say. They'd like to have you fill this out. I don't know if we have in the past or not. I never did, but
Public health, we need to have more there. Seems like we're always running.
Well, the thing is that we're gonna get more money for public health and community services from the state. But in turn, we gotta hire more people to administer the requirements, so that's the part that bugs me,
mhm,
but. That's why I'm afraid to ask for more money from the state, because then they're gonna require more,
mhm,
Strings attached.
yeah.
okay,
That's something we can all think on and ponder on and
Mhm.
get back to you with some ideas.
okay.
I'd like to see more revenue streams for our road and bridge funds, because, I know the DOT is looking at ways for people to drive less, but then that means our gas tax is gonna keep going down. And then the push to go to EV, they're not being taxed. I've mentioned this before at AMC, and other counties have too, is, we need to get something in place for the EVs so they can pay their fair share on maintaining the roads, because they use the roads as well, so. To me, that'd be one of the things I'd want to consider.
Okay. It doesn't really say when this should be done, but when's the district meeting?
Weeks in it.
Yeah, October 9th. It's coming up here.
Okay, well, if anything, you want to send me anything, is some of the levy information will be used for upcoming AMC fall district meetings, so. I've got those numbers. These other questions might not,
Okay.
we might not see eye to eye on.
October 21st, over at Steele County.
Steele County. There's a chairman Zoom meeting too for chairmans of the district meet coming up the 7th, I believe. Have to look at that again.
Board of Directors, the 11th. I got to see something there.
The
Anyway,
7th of October at 1:30 is the board chairs meeting. It's just a Zoom. So if anybody wishes to just pass something along to me to discuss, talk about, I could do that.
that would be before our next meeting. That'll be next Monday, right?
Yep.
7th.
Okay. So we have,
negotiation session with AFSMI on Thursday at 10:30. We'll meet in 10 o'clock,
10 o'clock
10:15.
here.
237, the deputies union has now requested meetings. It looks like they were trying to schedule things before, but didn't end up coming up with dates because people were on vacation. So the 15th or the 22nd.
15th is. Is that
They're Tuesdays. I
Yeah,
basically
Tuesdays.
said Tuesdays.
substitute for the 15th? The
15th.
27th is, yeah, go for the 15th, please.
Okay. We'll be looking at a personnel committee meeting. At some point, I have some things to put together. Want to meet with you regarding an HR director job description.
Mhm.
Anne's been going through it. I've been going through it. So we can get that going.
Okay.
The department heads all received the personnel policy again. I'll send it out to all the commissioners. I know there was kind of random who got it, and who didn't. Probably like to have that approved by the 14th, so we'll have some discussion at the work group session
Okay,
next week.
all
Okay,
right, to talk about the,
the personnel policy.
that'd be good.
It's kind of where I'm at
All right,
these days. Sorting out dates.
anything else? No.
Nothing pops into my head right now, but it could at some point.
Okay. I don't have anything to report. I was in the field last week, but we got a extension meeting coming up Thursday night.
Wednesday or Thursday?
Thursday night. And then we have, I got a water plan meeting that morning too, so. That's coming up. Greg, what do you got?
We're gonna have a workshop next week. We got a few things we can talk about there, some of the ordinance stuff. Things that are coming down the pipeline with this fire thing. But we'll wait till next week.
Commissioner Schultz?
A quiet week, just a couple phone calls.
Go ahead, what is it?
Well, I've been getting all the Zoom calls on this walking deal down there. Was that ever okay by the commission? Does anybody know? Did we okay it?
It was approved to build.
Yeah, I know, but I thought we were gonna have soil and water come and give us what their thoughts were, right, Bob? You were the one
They
who made it.
had to stay within the guidelines of what the soil and water.
We never got those guidelines or any soil and water. Did we pass it or not? That's the commission.
That was a condition that the soil and water would sign off on it, and from what I understand, soil and water went out there and looked at it. Along with a highway engineer. And went over the new engineering plans, and it was. Got the thumbs up.
They did. Okay.
This is what I was told. So
Dave Walters tell you that he was there and did that?
Dave was fine, was okay with it. Amelia's told me that they were out there and met on site.
Good. That's all I need to know.
Yep. Do it.
Well, as Carol said, we got union negotiation coming Thursday. There's some things there. It's interesting. We'll leave it at that. So that's about it. And that's all I have. No other meetings.
Better not doubt Kansas.
Anything else? Eric, you have something.
Spring Grove Township hired me about 5 years ago to do a survey of Bee Hill Drive. I think some of you are aware about that. A landowner barricaded, put a fence across the roadway. It's Spring Grove Township Attorney Ken Schuler with Dunlap and Seeger contacted me late last week. Wondering if I would ride out there with Sheriff's Office present to check on the condition of the buildings that are in the right of way. To see if the landowners moved those off of the right of way. I was wondering if I could get your guys' blessing to go out there and do that, or if you want me to stay away entirely.
If we wanna get mixed up in that. The buildings that you're talking about being moved have been there way before that guy bought that property. The corner crib was there. And one other building was there. He might have built one or two since. I don't know. I mean, that's a dispute between that farmer and Spring Grove Township.
Is this the one that we had the discussion here about a year and a half ago? With the,
With Spring Grove Township here.
yeah, and issues of being in some. On the roadway of some kind or something like this.
So go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, so you have determined where the line should be.
Mhm.
And I guess from my thought here that you need to solidify that. So to verify that they have followed what you determined, right? Is that kind of what request is?
The court ordered the landowner to remove the obstructions from the right of way. I think about a year ago, that court case was finalized. The township alleges that he hasn't moved anything. And they would like me to go out there to compare the current conditions with the conditions as they existed when I completed my survey.
Why do they need you to do that? Can't they make that determination with their lawyer?
I don't know, maybe.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
this is a civil matter right now. I mean, basically it's going through the courts. I mean, unless a judge orders you to go out there and do something, which
Has not happened.
has not happened,
Correct.
why would you need to? I mean, do this for the lawyer for the township? I mean,
I'm not sure.
they have to order, they should hire their own surveyor to do that kind of stuff.
I'm the surveyor they've hired throughout this process. I would imagine they want to continue.
So you,
The same.
but we're not charging them for that, right?
I am.
You are?
Yeah.
So what, as a Houston County surveyor?
Yep.
Because it's above and beyond your normal duties. I'm looking at it as being an extension of the court order. That he's going out to verify a court order. I guess that kind of.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
That's.
Wasn't the order, and they already had one surveyor of their own do it too.
No, that was just me. Or are you talking about the landowner?
So there's been two surveys already on. I don't think we want to get involved in the civil action itself.
Like the court told them, get the stuff off the. Right.
The first court did. Now they're in court again. That's why they were in court last week, correct?
Maybe. I don't know.
Last Wednesday, pretty sure. Oh, no, 2 weeks ago.
Okay. I don't know that. Yeah, I think the township is going after the landowner for being in contempt of court for not following the orders the court laid out. I would imagine having county surveyor testify makes it look good for the township.
Yeah, which you've done, right?
Correct.
So the township's just asking you to go out there to verify
And compare visually.
locations and distances. Is that right?
I'm not gonna measure anything. I don't intend on even getting
So
out
what
of the
do you-
squad car. I'm just gonna look and say that. It's a tense situation.
I know. So you're just gonna go out and say, yeah, looks like nothing's changed.
Correct. These
Or
conditions. match.
this has been changed or whatever.
Yeah,
But
this shed has moved from where it was when
Yeah.
I was out here in 2017, 2018. 2019. I'm not counting, I'm recollecting.
You know what all started this whole deal was some people thought they could drive through his yard snowmobile. That's what started this whole thing.
He's barricaded a public roadway.
Yeah, it is public.
2017, the town board gave it back to him. He's got proof of that and it's on.
Yeah, but that,
We're not here to like argue.
But that's what's holding this whole thing up is that piece of paper.
which hasn't stood up in court.
Well, they're working, I don't know, they're, it's in
Well,
court last week, 2 weeks ago, it was in court, so
It hasn't stood up in court to be paper.
not this far.
That's a tough one, because I look at it as a court order to remove the things. He's checking to see if it has been done. That's.
So you were,
my
you were hired to do this in 2017 as a county employee, working as a county surveyor.
I'd say Spring Grove Township hired the Houston County Surveyor's Office.
Right.
Yep.
So our office did that work then.
Yep.
And
And
they're
they paid me
asking,
for
they're
that survey.
asking for confirmation
Follow-up.
of the work that you did then
Yes.
as a county official.
So then they'll pay me hourly.
In county capacity.
Right. They'll pay the county for my time hourly when I go out there to do it. They'll pay for the sheriff's office.
So either way,
That's
when-
what we-
if it goes into litigation, you're gonna get subpoenaed.
I don't know if I'd get subpoenaed on this round because I've also already testified to great length about the situation. The current court case is more about, has he moved, has he done the things that he was ordered to do or not?
Mhm. So the process of them wanting you to go do that, will that help fulfill to bring closure to the litigation?
I think so.
Then with that reasoning, we should give a consensus. to
That
go
would be
ahead
my
and finish it
recommendation,
out.
if that's the facts at hand.
I could go along with that. And this is just a consensus thing. There's no vote here, so.
I think this is something we shouldn't even get involved. This is between constituents.
Unfortunately, we are, though.
We have
We should have never gotten involved first time.
Yeah,
Could
But
be
we
very
did.
true, but we are.
but we are, exactly.
Yeah, we are involved, we can't argue that.
Okay.
Oh, I have,
It's a tough.
I'm fine with that to follow through with it. I guess.
Okay. I'll bill for my time and sheriff's office time.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Good luck with it.
Yeah, thanks.
That's the toughest division.
Any closing public comment?
One reminder that the work group session
Oh.
next week will be in the basement of the CJP.
Right, thank you for that. That was
Or
very-
remind us again on Friday.
Yeah. No,
So next week's workshop will be at the basement of the G's.
we'll all leave it on the agenda. Got it.
Training room. though.
Well, let me forget to put that out there.
Anything else needs to come before the board? Is there a closing public comment? We'll see none. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.